They were just trying to go to their AAU game, trying to get there on time. Through the course of the next 45 minutes, it just kept getting worse.
You're still too low level for flight following at this time.
Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter were among the 9 victims who died in a helicopter crash in Southern California.
Kobe Bryant is dead, and you're shocked. You don't want to believe it.
It didn't seem real. Still doesn't seem real.
Fans say they really lost the king of LA.
It just hits you, and that's when the tears start flowing, because this is your brother, the guy you went to battle with.
I lost a lot of people in my life, but when Kobe died, I knew what it felt like to lose a brother.
It was Kobe, that it was his daughter, and that it was all of these other families. It was devastating in a way that I can't explain.
For them to go out together, that was a very hard pill to swallow.
How do we even get through this? It was brutal. Nobody could wrap their brain around what was happening.
It's hard to imagine how impactful Kobe would have been had that tragedy not happened.
I don't think he had enough time to actually eclipse what he did on the basketball court.
In his passing, we realized how much he's meant to the basketball world.
August 23rd, 1978. Kobe Bean Bryant is born in suburban Philadelphia, the youngest of Joe and Pamela Bryant's 3 children and the only boy. Kobe's father, Joe Jelly Bean Bryant, is a journeyman NBA player. Every time he moves to a new team, the family follows. But as opportunities in the NBA slowly dry up, Joe decides to ply his trade in Italy.
So Joe signed a contract with an Italian team outside of Rome, and Kobe Bryant and his family moved. They were the only Black family in a small town, and Kobe felt like an outsider. He struggled to fit in.
Kobe grew up in non-Black, traditional, white neighborhood.
Most kids in Italy are wild about soccer, but Kobe dreams of playing in the NBA like his father. He begs his relatives back in the States to send him videos of all his NBA idols, players like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
When he was younger, growing up in Italy, he was watching the Showtime Lakers on tapes. He grew to learn about the Lakers-Celtics rivalry, and he knew what it meant.
But of all the videos Kobe most cherished are those of his favorite player of all time, Michael Jordan.
Kobe would watch the videos of Jordan, and he'd try to emulate that. And he would play after his father's games on a Sunday at this local church. He was so dedicated, and he would just play and play and play, working so hard to get better.
Kobe grew up for part of his life in Italy. He would tell me the kids always would say, "You're good here, but when you go to the States, like, you're gonna get crushed." And so I think that was definitely a fire that lit under him to want to prove that wrong.
2 years after moving to Italy, Joe Bryant's friend and former teammate, Harvey Catchings, signs with another Italian league team. Harvey's daughter, Tamika, is nearly Kobe's age. The two immediately hit it off over their shared passion for the game.
They were the 2 basketball fanatics that knew what they wanted to do for the rest of their lives at an early age. So he had a relationship with Tamika Catchings in Italy that was bonded and rooted in basketball for what they both wanted their journey to be.
When Kobe turns 9, he returns to Philadelphia for a summer basketball camp. It proves to be an eye-opening experience. During the games, Kobe didn't score a single point, but that didn't stop him from giving it his all every time he stepped on the court.
Over the course of the next 5 years, Kobe is like a beast with basketball. He's playing at every chance that he can get, training both mentally and physically.
This takes a lot of dedication, and we know that that was something that Kobe prided himself on. We know it was his whole life.
Kobe came over to Philadelphia from Italy in 8th grade.
Kobe is enrolled at Lower Merion High School and basically is adapting to being back in America.
When Kobe first came over to our school, I thought there would be a good chance he would go to the NBA. I knew his dad was in the NBA. He was 6'1", he could shoot. And I already knew, like, if I've ever seen anybody that's gonna go, like, this is gonna be the guy.
In 1992, Kobe becomes the first freshman at Lower Merion to start on the boys' varsity team. That season, they only win 4 of 21 games, which only pushes Kobe to work harder and encourages his teammates to do the same.
And that's how Kobe was. I mean, he was just like, he was a monster on the court, but he wanted you to get better so the team could be better.
His work ethic that was legendary. His was getting up at 4:30 in the morning and going to practice before school, and then we had practice after school.
Practice was always hard with him. He went 100% every day. He was always going as hard as he possibly could.
Probably my most famous practice story was we were doing a 3-on-3 kind of round-robin tournament in practice. We were on the same team. So we're in the championship game, and it's a tie game. So he passes me the ball on the wing, and he cuts past me. And I pump fake to him. Everybody went towards him. And the lane opened up, and I was like, this is it. So I was going in for the layup, and then out of nowhere, I get my shot blocked. The other team scores. We lose the game. It was one of the few times that he lost something in practice. I knew he was staring at me after we lost. He's like, what is your problem? And I was like, all right, dude. I'm like, relax. I got it. Wrong thing to say. And he kind of like lunged at me. And I turned around and hightailed it out of that gym as fast as I could possibly run. That was just kind of part of the competitive fire that he had, that we had to step up to. At the time, you don't realize how different and how special he was. But looking back on it, you're like, he knew, and he knew what it took to get there, and he did everything he needed to do.
Despite Kobe's hard-charging reputation, as he gets more comfortable with life in America, a lighter side emerges, at least when he isn't on the court.
Kobe was very into music. I remember he loved Wu-Tang Clan. That was like his favorite group. He was very into rap. He would always freestyle back at the bus and road trips, and he was a fun guy.
Fueled by his dad's love, support, and all-around basketball IQ, as well as Kobe's own ever-growing passion for the sport, his sophomore season at Lower Merion goes much better than his first. Kobe also excels in the classroom as well, developing a love of languages, literature, and simply being a student back in the States.
I think Kobe, coming from his background, spending a lot of time outside of America, he was able to hone into another style of living and appreciate other things in life. And reading was probably one of those things. And storytelling was probably one of those things.
People didn't realize he was nerdy. He loved Harry Potter, he loved Star Wars, he loved movies.
Off the court, he was just the nicest guy in the world. I mean, he wanted you to be successful. He was always willing to talk to you and walk you through things.
But it is during his junior year that Kobe explodes, averaging nearly 30 points a game and catching the eye of every college basketball scout in America.
He was the best player in the country. Like, he was the #1 rated player in the country.
Yeah, if you want more, shout out for the encore.
And we got to see why that was every day.
At our high school games, we would have college scouts come, we would have pro scouts come, and it was fun.
Kobe Bryant knocks down the 3.
He's just so driven and he works so hard.
Kobe always had a big belief in himself. Here we're riding on the bus, and he's like, Michael Jordan can't stop me. He's like, look, I'm not saying I can stop him and shut him down, but he can't stop me. Nobody in high school would say anything like that and believe it, and he did believe it.
There's still one thing that Kobe hasn't done on a high school level: win a state championship. Now a senior, as he and his teammates are making their way through the Pennsylvania State playoffs, the hype around Kobe further intensifies.
The attention was unbelievable. Camera crews at every practice. Sports Illustrated wants to talk to you. You know, they want to talk to me. Like, why would they want to talk to me? Because they want to talk about Kobe.
That year, Kobe leads Lower Merion to a state championship.
He started putting up major numbers. Wilt Chamberlain's high school scoring record stood for decades. And all of a sudden there's this kid in the Philadelphia suburbs who is putting up 40 points, 50 points.
As the media coverage around him intensifies, Kobe becomes increasingly comfortable in the spotlight. So much so that he invites the actress and pop star Brandy to a senior prom. She says yes, which comes as a bit of a shock to Kobe's friends, but perhaps not to Kobe.
And that's exactly Kobe. He just was like so smooth and confident.
I was all of, I think, 12 years old when Kobe Bryant popped into my purview, and sort of just knew him as this young teenage athlete, basketball phenom who went to prom with Brandy. Like, that's what I knew about Kobe.
As his senior year comes to a close, Kobe has a big decision to make.
One thing I remember, we went to the main office of Lower Merion one day. He's like, I want to show you something. So we go into there, and that's where all the recruiting letters come in. He had like bins of letters from every school. Duke, North Carolina, UCLA. Everybody was in there, like unopened.
It didn't make sense to go to college and play college ball when he can just already, be living out and focusing 100% on his dream.
And on May 6, 1996, in front of hundreds of teammates, fellow students, and members of the press, Kobe announces his plans for the future.
No, I have decided to skip college and take my talent to the NBA.
When Kobe made the decision to go to the NBA, I was really happy for him. I just thought that would be the right move for him. I felt like his focus, could be just solely on basketball.
Players jumping directly from high school to the NBA was not widely accepted. In fact, it was frowned upon at that time.
The level of competition from a high school game to a professional NBA game is just astronomical. The difference in talent of guys that you're going to play against, guys that you're going to face, is huge.
Is this the right decision? The NBA is such a much grander stage than playing in high school.
As much as there was talk about Kobe, especially coming in high school, nobody saw Kobe coming. Nobody saw him coming.
This is the moment I wanted. I've been patient, finally got it. Say my name, then they switch up the topic. Pay my dues, now I'm all in their pockets. Play the game, I keep moving the chains. 100 miles an hour, stay in your lane.
When we had seen players go from high school to the pro, they were physical specimens. They were players that we knew that kid is going to be successful from day one.
Future All-Stars like Stephon Marbury, Ray Allen, Allen Iverson have all been chosen.
12 picks into the draft, and one player who has yet to be chosen, 17-year-old Kobe Bryant.
We didn't know if he was going to get drafted.
Even if teams, general managers, owners saw great ability, they were concerned about the physical and mental maturity and how long that might take transitioning, whereas college helps a player do that.
Shortly after 9 p.m., NBA Commissioner David Stern takes to the podium to announce the next selection.
The Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
He's 18 years old, and is going to be considered a grown man. But so we're allowed to be drafted, right, and pay taxes, so why not be able to turn professional?
In truth, Kobe is only 17, and many experts believe he isn't ready for the NBA. However, one general manager beyond the Charlotte Hornets is bullish on Kobe's future. In fact, Just minutes before the Hornets selected Kobe, the Los Angeles Lakers' legendary general manager, Jerry West, reached out to them and arranged a trade. In exchange for drafting Kobe and dealing him to the Lakers, the Hornets will receive All-Star center Vlade Divac. Kobe will now play for one of the league's most iconic teams, but at just 17, he still needs his parents' written permission to officially become a Laker.
He was a teenager. He was too young to sign his contract himself when he came into the league.
Give Jerry West credit. He saw something more in Kobe than what a lot of other people saw. And he targeted back then, hey, this is a guy we got to get.
However, it's clear from day one that the Lakers organization views Kobe as a work in progress.
I remember watching Kobe's first game. I'm like, that must be weird for him, going from you're the best player in the country, now you're a bench warmer.
Kobe was lanky. And then you got to go on a Lakers roster with Shaquille O'Neal, who's 7'2" and 325 pounds and could literally pick you apart like a chicken wing if he wanted to. And those guys are all over the league.
When I first approached him, I was impressed with his professionalism for this teenage athlete kind of thrown into this big arena. A guy of few words, but you could see in his eyes he was going to be a star. He was on a mission.
Former Kobe teammate and seven-time NBA champion Robert Horry remembers the first time he met the young rookie.
The first time I met Kobe, I went up and introduced myself, and he was like, with this biggest smile and the brightest eyes, was like, "Hey, Rob, nice to meet you." We got to know each other, but the kid was just, one of those people who just wanted to learn the game.
The life of a champion.
Even as a young rookie, he was one of those people that was first at the forum, first at the practice facility, and the last one to leave.
He did let us know early, at least when I was around him, Michael Jordan was the standard. He wanted to be not like Mike, he wanted to be Kobe, but do some of the great things that Jordan did. And that stood out to me from a young guy.
It's a lot of guys you walk around the league, you point out, oh, he has this weakness. When you go to Michael Jordan, it's like he doesn't have one. So Kobe was like, okay, that's who I'm going to copy.
Even as Kobe works to improve his game, he often finds himself an outsider, both on and off the court.
When he entered the league, he wasn't a bashful young player. Sometimes that rubbed veterans the wrong way.
At first he's not likable. And even I was hesitant. You don't want to judge too quickly. But some guys just warm right up. I think it took him a little while.
I remember one point we all were going out, and he was like, "Can I go?" We were like, "Nah, you can't go, dude. You got to be 21 to get in this spot."
It's around this time that Kobe strikes up a friendship with Scoop Jackson, an up-and-coming NBA reporter with Slam magazine.
For that first meeting that we met, I was able to develop a really, really good relationship with him because I think he had a lot of respect for Slam magazine. And I think he had a lot of respect to my approach to telling stories.
See, I step in the room like 007. Two of my cup, that's double up measures. Anyone giving me trouble, I tell them I'll holler.
1997 All-Star Weekend in Cleveland was very significant for Kobe Bryant because he wanted to play in the All-Star game, but he also wanted to be a part of this iconic competition, the slam dunk contest.
He was like, okay, I'm gonna get in the dunk contest, and I may not be playing on Sunday, but trust me, people are gonna be walking away talking about me. This is gonna be mine. This is my coming out party.
He wins, becoming the youngest player to ever claim the crown.
After the All-Star game, I think they started loosening the rope and put some more responsibilities on this kid's shoulders.
That season, the Lakers do make it to the playoffs, but Kobe is having a tough time dealing with the heightened level of intensity that comes with being in the playoffs.
You cannot do the same things you do in the regular season in the postseason. And a lot of players talk about this.
If you hadn't faced a team in playoff mode before, you don't know what it's like. And I think that was a rude awakening for him.
May 12th, 1997. After defeating the Portland Trail Blazers 3-1 in the first round of the playoffs, the 4th-seeded Lakers are facing off against the top-seeded Utah Jazz in the Western Conference semifinals. Trailing 3-1 in the best-of-7 series. Late in Game 5, the Lakers find themselves with their back against the wall and without the services of their all-star center. Young Kobe spies an opportunity.
When Shaq fouled out, Kobe just took the game in his own hand. Like, he's like, okay, I'm the best player on this squad besides this big dude.
Most people run from pressure. I think he wanted the pressure. He wanted the last shot. He wanted to be the star of the team. That's who he was. And when you have that type of mentality, there's nothing that you fear.
But as the game heads into overtime, Kobe's confidence seems more like hubris. He misses 4 shots, all air balls, including one in the final minute that could have given the Lakers the lead.
If he makes that shot, instant superstardom. Great for him, great for the team, great for the league.
I think that moment needed to happen for Kobe to face some reality. That, yes, you can become what you want to become, but this shit is not going to happen overnight.
The story was that they flew back to LA. He went right to a high school gym and shot all night. He wasn't going to let that happen again.
Love. I'ma keep on going hard till it's all mine. Won't stop until I am the greatest one of all time.
After missing that shot, it made him mad. And you never want to make Kobe mad because it's going to make him work harder and harder and harder to be good at what he was. Next year, he came back really good.
The teenager who had signed that contract had become a man, and he knew what he had to do for this team to succeed.
He came back with the desire to be better. He even came back at 10 pounds bigger because he got in the weight room and got stronger.
Kobe went through a transformation, and the Lakers knew it. They saw an 18-year-old kid go from not 18 to 19, but 18 to 25.
Kobe scores twice as much as he did the year before and becomes the youngest player to appear in an NBA All-Star game.
This was one of the most significant moments of Kobe's career. He's going head-to-head against Michael Jordan, and this was the player that he looked up to most.
And I think Kobe knew Michael Jordan is the top tier of the NBA. I have to be able to play as good as that guy.
With Jordan often guarding him, Kobe scores 18 points, making him the top scorer for the Western Conference All-Stars.
You're watching it, you're like, oh my God, like he used to talk about this guy, now he's playing against him? That's gotta be a bit of a head trip for anybody.
You saw that confidence, like, I'm supposed to be here, you all just don't know it yet.
Jordan said it himself. Like, that's when Kobe Bryant, to me, sort of started solidifying himself as the next one, that all-star game where he got everyone's attention.
However, that spring, the Lakers are once again knocked out of the Western Conference playoffs in the semifinal round, falling to eventual NBA champions, the San Antonio Spurs. But Kobe's life off the basketball court is about to take an unexpected and ultimately life-changing turn.
He wanted to come out with a rap album, so he put a group together with a bunch of guys from Philly. I said, I want to be part of this. I want to write the idea for the music video.
The video is for a song called KOBE and features model and entertainer Tyra Banks. The song touches on Kobe's overseas roots and his love of basketball.
What I live for? Basketball, beats and brawls, from Italy to the US. Yes, it's raw.
The video is never released, but while on set, Kobe met a 17-year-old backup dancer by the name of Vanessa Lane. The two hit it off instantly.
And then I think once the conversation started, they went from like, she's a cool person to like, yo, I'm not letting this one leave.
After just 6 months together, Kobe proposes marriage. However, Kobe's parents think he and Vanessa are too young and moving too fast. They enlist one of Kobe's closest confidants, reporter Scoop Jackson, to try and convince him to pump the brakes on his courtship of Vanessa.
I did the opposite of what they asked me to do. I told them, hey, this is what happened. This is what they asked me to do. I'm not gonna do that, but if you need me, wanna holler, I'm here. You your own man, dude. You your own man. And I think in having that conversation, because he was, man, I appreciate that, you know. I appreciate you not coming at me.
Kobe, you know, married his beautiful wife, Vanessa, and it puts the different perspective on life.
In addition to his marriage to Vanessa, Kobe is also learning how to navigate a different kind of relationship, his budding on-court partnership with Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq just didn't carry a ton of respect out of the gate for Kobe. He had to earn that with Shaquille. So I think with Kobe and Shaq, it just took a little bit of time for them to get in step with one another.
The Shaq-Kobe stars butting heads on the same team. Those were two guys who wanted to win, who were very talented, who could handle the big moment, the big shot.
I feel like they really started to gel when Phil Jackson showed up.
Phil Jackson was the Zen master. He was the coach who brought everyone together. He took over a very talented team with the Chicago Bulls, which had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Phil came in, he was able to blend all this talent together and effectively told Michael Jordan, yes, you're the best player on the planet. However, you need to play this way. You need to play within the confines of the triangle for us to have team success.
When the Lakers came together around Phil Jackson started implementing his offense. Kobe and Shaq found a way to play off each other that was very successful. They both knew what they were on the floor. Regardless of how they felt off the floor about each other, Shaq would always yell at Kobe, barbecue chicken on the court. And I asked him, I was like, what does that mean? He goes, I knew I was going to eat. Throw me the basketball because I know that I'm going to eat this guy like barbecue chicken. I'm just going to tear him to pieces.
Coupled with Phil Jackson's expert tutelage, Kobe and Shaq take the Lakers all the way to the NBA Finals, where they defeat the Indiana Pacers 4-2. The Pacers are coached by one of Kobe's childhood idols, Larry Bird.
Reggie turns and pumps it up, off the rim, and the Lakers are the NBA champions.
Shaq is named the Finals MVP, but along the way, Kobe has a breakout performance.
You really got to see how good he was. And him actually winning the championship, it was just amazing to feel. It was almost like you got emotional because you know how hard he worked, and that was his ultimate goal.
What's up, everybody? It's been a long time. It's been a long 12 years. We finally brought the championship back to where it belongs, and that's here to the city of Los Angeles.
Over the next 2 seasons, the Lakers win 2 more titles. They are beginning to draw comparisons to Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls, who won 6 titles in 8 seasons. But tensions between Shaq and Kobe always seem to be simmering.
Within the media, there was a Shaq contingent and a Kobe contingent, and unfortunately, they would always go to the media whenever they had any problems and things would leak out.
Shaq had his guy, Kobe had his guy, and they would both go to their respective guys when they had a problem on the floor.
Shaq and Kobe both fed into it. The media didn't force anything on Shaq and Kobe that they didn't put out there themselves.
But the thing is, who doesn't want to be the big dog of the Lakers?
Much as Kobe's role as a leader of the Lakers is evolving, so is his role at home. In January 2003, Kobe and his wife Vanessa welcomed their first child, a girl, Natalia.
For some people, you start doing less of one thing and spending more time with your kids and your wife. But to me, this dude, he spent the same amount of time for his game and his kids, and it's just amazing.
Kobe just had so much respect for Mike. He just didn't want to get shown up.
The game is neck and neck early on, and Jordan gets off to a hot start. scoring his team's first 6 points.
It was really an incredible experience to watch two unparalleled NBA talents come together at a time when Kobe's on the rise and Mike is wrapping up his time in the NBA.
But it is Kobe who has the truly standout night, scoring 55 as the Lakers win 108-94.
Kobe's long jumper.
Kobe finishes the season as the Lakers' top scorer and hopes they can win their 4th championship in 4 years. But the Lakers once again fall to their nemesis, the San Antonio Spurs, in the Western Conference semifinals. The loss seems to be an omen of darker times ahead for both the Lakers and for Kobe.
I didn't force her to do anything against her will. I'm innocent. Next season starts right now, and come back next season to play.
What Kobe doesn't say is that he's been playing injured. Before he can start prepping for next season, he'll need surgery on his right knee.
One of his biggest fears in his basketball life was injury. He had the knowledge of what they could do to his career. And if nobody else on this court can stop him, then the only thing that's gonna stop him, besides himself, is injury.
But just a few weeks later, a series of events begins to unfold. Events that will forever alter public perception of Kobe, jeopardize his marriage to Vanessa, and potentially derail another young woman's life. Shortly after 3 p.m. that day, Kobe checks into a hotel outside the upscale ski resort town of Vail, where he is scheduled to have surgery the following day. At the hotel, Kobe meets a young woman, a 19-year-old member of the staff, and invites her back to his room. Though accounts of what happened in the room differ, 2 weeks later, the young woman comes forward and accuses Kobe of raping her. Later that summer, prosecutors for the Eagle County District Attorney's Office charged Kobe with felony sexual assault.
The sports media jumped all over that. It was almost like they fed on it.
It was amazing, the reaction. Some fans right away rushing to his defense. Some trying to knock down the superstar and, hey, he should be more this and more that, judging from the outside.
Is this going to break him? Is this going to be the thing that turns him into kind of the maligned anti-hero of the NBA?
I didn't force her to do anything against her will. I'm innocent.
Kobe, he would go back and forth. He would play that season flying to Colorado, flying to play that night, flying to Colorado, flying back to play.
While the case was going on in the middle of the NBA season, he would come in to whatever NBA arena the Lakers were playing in, sometimes missing shoot around, sometimes missing pregame, and put on a tremendous performance.
I think any athlete that goes through a major public controversy, having sports as an outlet can really help you process and get through that experience. And I think that's what Kobe did.
He could perform in that pressure, but it also was a sense of, I think, relief from some of the things that he was going through and had to deal with. Basketball, in a sense, was his safe haven.
If Kobe was going through a tough situation, please believe that he's gonna come out and ball out. If Kobe's going through something tough, you don't wanna be playing against him that night.
But with controversy now perpetually swirling around him, the rift between Kobe and Shaquille O'Neal grows even wider.
You had a franchise that was being looked at as the best franchise of this era of basketball. but you had two totally different people. But their approaches to life and their styles of play on the basketball court.
The Lakers keep on winning. In the playoffs, they defeat the San Antonio Spurs on their way to the NBA Finals. But with a championship on the line, they fall in a shocking upset to the young, upstart Detroit Pistons.
When you start losing changes everything.
We know Shaq's going to move on, or Kobe's going to move on. One of them's going to go at this point.
In the end, it's Shaq who leaves LA in a trade to the Miami Heat.
At that time, Shaq wanted a pay raise. He wanted to get paid more than he was currently making. So at that point, Dr. Jerry Buss had a decision to make.
Coach Phil Jackson, who urged Lakers owner Jerry Buss to trade Kobe instead of Shaq, is fired. Kobe may be the last man standing, but his reputation, both on and off the court, is in tatters.
We did a story in ESPN magazine, and the writer of the story, if I'm correct, used 19 unnamed sources. We're talking about like how nobody wanted to play with Kobe.
And perhaps no one had harsher criticism for Kobe than his former coach.
By the end of their time together, Kobe defiantly went against Phil. He didn't listen to Phil. And Phil had enough. He basically put himself in a position to say, I'm done. I'm not coaching him anymore.
For Kobe, it was sort of a point of decision in his life. Am I going to let this be the end of my career? Is this going to be the last defining moment where my career starts to turn down a path? Or is this going to be a moment of growth? Is it going to be a moment of reinvention?
The victim has informed us that she does not want to proceed with this trial.
Shortly after the DA drops the case against him, Kobe issues a very public apology to the alleged victim. He also settles her civil suit against him for an undisclosed sum, though in the agreement there is no admission from Kobe that a sexual assault took place, only that the two parties saw the events very differently. The full truth of what happened in that hotel room may never be known, but in the wake of what has been a low point both personally and professionally, Kobe throws himself even more fully into becoming a better player and a better husband and father. It's during this time that Kobe also adopts the nickname, the Black Mamba.
Normally, you're not supposed to nickname yourself, but Kobe had this persona, the Black Mamba. It was just this killer instinct, this mentality.
It makes sense because the Mamba is a killer, right? And that's how he saw himself on the court.
Black Mamba is an ode to the assassin in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill films.
But only with the Mamba, and this has been true in Africa since the dawn of time, is death sure.
The moniker is also a way for Kobe to draw a line between publicly shamed man off the court and the nearly unstoppable force on it.
He just kind of took upon himself where I kind of created another persona, and you saw that every time he played, and whether it started off with being a little scowl or whatever, he kind of built that persona into something big.
The Mamba mentality is making sure that even when you think that you're at your zenith, at your peak, it's doing some of the work to make sure that you're actually meeting the potential that you set for yourself, because it's higher than anyone else's.
As much as Kobe is the superstar player, he also had an underdog mentality in him in terms of wanting to prove people wrong, that he could succeed with jumping from high school to the NBA, that he could succeed winning championships without Shaquille O'Neal.
Unfortunately, Kobe's first season without Shaq is a disaster. He knows it, and so do the Lakers. That offseason, they make a surprise move. A year after firing Phil Jackson, they bring him back. Now Kobe will have to find a way to again work with a man who once called him uncoachable.
To me, there's another area of growth and maturity on the part of Kobe. Whether he became more coachable or more mature or just settled into a situation, He found a way to make it work. It was a little bumpy, but they got the most out of each other.
The first time I played against Kobe, I was a rookie, and we're winning. In that fourth quarter, Lorenzen Wright, who was a teammate of mine at the time, started talking noise to Kobe and talking about lock him up. He ain't this, he ain't that, whatever. All of a sudden, he just turns it on like that, like a switch. And it was amazing to watch, even though it was against my team. It was still amazing to watch to see somebody that can take control over a game at any time.
Kobe's will to win leads to some mind-blowing performances, like the 62 points he scored against the Dallas Mavericks in December 2005.
Never in my life have I seen a player in the NBA literally single-handedly outscore a team. Kobe had 62 points at the end of 3 quarters. Dallas had 61 as a team. He didn't even play in the fourth quarter.
Just a month later, Kobe posts a career-high 81 points against the Toronto Raptors. It's the second most ever scored in a single game by any NBA player, trailing only the 100-point game posted by his fellow Pennsylvanian and fellow Laker alumni, Wilt Chamberlain, in 1962.
The fact that he had 81 points. As a player, I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, what did everybody else do? Like, they just run the sprints up and down the court? Like, but with Kobe, he was a very competitive person. He was just a guy that always wanted something personal to keep him motivated, keep him going.
It wasn't just the 81. Like, I'm sure it's knowing Kobe, he's trying to get 100.
The Black Mamba carries the Lakers back to the playoffs. On April 30th, 2006, Kobe lands a game-winning jumper in overtime to beat the Phoenix Suns.
Seconds. Bryant for the win.
Less than 24 hours later, Kobe and his wife Vanessa reach an even bigger milestone. Having endured intense public scrutiny of their marriage's often heartbreaking ups and downs, the couple welcome into the world their second daughter, Gianna Maria Honore Bryant, aka Gigi. But despite the personal joy of the birth of his second daughter, Kobe and the Lakers would be eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. Adding insult to injury, his former teammate and increasingly his nemesis, Shaquille O'Neal, carries his new team, the Miami Heat, to the NBA championship. On the stage at a nightclub shortly after winning the title, Shaq celebrates with an off-color and less than subtle shot at Kobe.
Now that's the difference between first and last place. Kobe, nigga, tell me how my ass tastes. Thank you, Brick City in the building.
With the beef between the two now more public than ever, it appears Shaq has the upper hand. But Kobe is determined that won't be the case for long.
Following Shaquille O'Neal's departure with the trade, I think it was a window into Kobe maturing as a player.
I ain't going out unless I'm going in. This ain't nothing new, this is who I've been. Greatness takes sacrifice and fewer friends, but I'm an outlaw, the art of war I'm fluid in.
He changed his number to 24, and it's like people almost forgot about everything that was negative. It's like, oh, that was 8. 24 is a whole new person.
Kobe 8 was grit and passion and drive. And Kobe 24 was like a surgeon. I mean, he could just dissect you on the floor. He had grown so much as a player. He knew every in and out. He knew how you were going to play him. He knew what was coming his way.
But the question on everyone's mind is, can this new Kobe, with his new jersey number, newly mended marriage, and killer new nickname, figure out how to win a championship without Shaq by his side?
Yeah, where they wanna take this. I can see the foes up close, they debating, hating. Yeah, they trying to break me. Yeah, I hear them talk, but they can never play me. They can never shake me. I'm resilient. I got more skills than a Brazilian. They can't stop what's already done. I'll always be number one.
I think it was also a window into Kobe maturing as a player and understanding that he doesn't always have to be the guy. He doesn't always have to shoot the ball. Sometimes a less is more approach.
He had to find ways to get guys involved, and he needed somebody at his side to help him evolve his game. Enter Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol was such a great complement to Kobe's game and taught him, I'm here when you need me, take the shot when you have it, and distribute the basketball, get other guys involved.
It's not just Pau Gasol who compliments Kobe on the court. So does a rising star, the multifaceted Lamar Odom. A skilled passer, rebounder, and scorer, Odom is a perfect complement to Kobe's skill set. In return, Kobe's passion and dedication quickly wears off on Odom.
He was an extremely intelligent basketball player. He never accepted failure, and even when he failed, finding the strength to get back up. Kobe was the ultimate competitor.
In 2008, Kobe and the Lakers finally make it back to the NBA Finals, where they lose to the Boston Celtics in 6 games.
So there's a crucial part of Kobe Bryant's career in 2008. He just lost to the Celtics in embarrassing fashion, lost by almost 40 in Game 6 in Boston.
He had that bitter taste in his mouth of watching not only Boston, their hated rivals, but losing in the finals as well.
But there's no time for Kobe to lick his wounds. He's on his way to Beijing, China, where for the first time in his life, he'll represent Team USA in the Summer Olympics.
Probably the highest energy game I've ever been a part of. Just because of the crowd, the anticipation of it all, and it being the last game, it's going to be nuts.
He joins a part of Mike Krzyzewski's USA Basketball reboot, trying to get the glory back with the Redeem Team. And it was the perfect combination of USA Basketball needing him because they wanted to make up for what happened in 2004 in Athens.
That's your job to come up with a story for this team. You know, he came up with the Redeem Team, which was a pretty cool name.
2008 Olympics was a moment for Kobe that I think was very influential and impactful.
It was the Redeem Team. So he knew, it was like, well, we have to win.
He was an older guy on the team. He was kind of like the veteran on the team with a lot of young, really talented guys who were hungry to bring the U.S. back to prominence.
That's why I think that the Olympics was very important for Kobe. That was a time when really the team needed him. They needed him to be a leader. They needed to have success. There was a lot of pressure in that situation.
It was Dwayne Wade, and it was LeBron James, it was Carmelo Anthony. I mean, it was a who's who, Kevin Durant. I mean, that team was incredible.
With his cast of all-star teammates, Kobe leads the U.S. to redemption and a return to the top of the Olympic podium.
When you take somebody as good and as dominant as Kobe Bryant and put him in his position where he has to play maybe outside of his comfort zone and learn to work with people he's never worked with before, that's going to force you to grow a little bit as a player. It's going to force you to just figure out different stuff.
That 2008 Redeem Team really showed that leadership side of him, the older guy that was bringing people along, but still showing he was the alpha dog in the pack.
I just think Kobe grew. I think he matured. I think he understood his responsibilities. Kobe said, I'm looking at basketball differently. I want to be a better teammate. By the time playoff comes, I'm hearing my teammates different, and they know I'm hearing them different. And he started to see that, but that's just a part of him opening up.
I think for Kobe, that's the ultimate level of growth and evolve in his game, was watching his teammates succeed around him.
Kobe's newfound sense of selflessness pays off. In 2009, he wins his first NBA title without Shaq, 4-1 over the Orlando Magic.
LA wins the 2009 NBA title.
When Kobe finally got that post-Shaq ring, you could look at the jubilation. I really do think that was monumental in so many ways.
The following season, Kobe leads the Lakers back to the finals, again facing off against the Boston Celtics.
A single championship is easier than a second. than the third. You know what I'm saying? The mountain becomes higher. The goal to achieve becomes more difficult.
You saw this struggle that Kobe was going through with trying to leave his mark on the game on his terms and then accepting that he wasn't going to be able to do that. And so he eventually changed his course of action and really focused on getting a lot of rebounds, getting a lot of defensive stops, making the right play.
The Celtics-Lakers series is a closely fought matchup, one that goes the full 7 games.
This was a game, high stakes for obvious reasons. It's the decisive game in the finals. It's Lakers-Celtics. He's trying to get his 5th NBA championship, tie with Magic Johnson, and he's pressing.
In Game 7, the Celtics have the lead with only minutes to play. But just when the Lakers need it most, Kobe begins to drain shot after shot. One of Kobe's Celtic opponents in the series, Sheldon Williams, still recalls the moment with awe.
I said, like, we really have a chance to win this championship. And Kobe turns it up. It was crazy to see Kobe, how he just pretty much manifests and willed his team to come back from double digits and then win the game.
2010 NBA championship for the Lakers, I think, was the most difficult championship for them to win.
No sooner has Kobe won his 5th championship than he turns his attention to the next season and the prospect of winning a 6th title, which would match the total of his idol, Michael Jordan.
There was still a window for Kobe to win championships, but there was a lot of turbulence that he and the rest of the Lakers went through. Within that whole turbulence, Kobe still found a way to play at an incredibly high level.
He and Vanessa found a way to get past it, and I think they both grew from that, individually and as a family.
Just as his personal life gets back on track, Kobe is hit with the most devastating injury of his career, April 12th, 2013.
It almost seemed like he was single-handedly carrying the team to make sure that they got into the playoffs, but that led to him tearing his Achilles against the Golden State Warriors in late April.
Anybody else would have been carried out on a stretcher. That's him, like, not allowing himself to even think that he's injured.
The Achilles was a big one. A lot of people don't come back from injuries that big. Kobe wasn't that guy, though. Kobe was not the injury's gonna end my career guy.
It is a testament to Kobe's discipline and his will to be able to come back. But following his Achilles injury, he was always dealing with more injuries, father time catching up to him. He wasn't the same player.
What happens is you put this type of toll that he was putting on his body, it's going to get at you.
He played for so long, and I know how hard he played. I don't think his body was able to keep up anymore.
Kobe Bryant told me that when he injured his shoulder in the 2014-15 season, that time away from the court really helped crystallize to him what he wanted to do post-retirement. During that time of self-reflection, he decided that he wants to really be able to carve his own path following his NBA career to get into the storytelling project.
I love telling stories. I love, inspiring kids.
I know entering his 20th season with his injuries and his shooting and performances, it really crystallized in his mind, you know what, this should be my final year.
It was the right time for him. He knew it, and he was at peace. He was in a good place.
During the 2015-2016 season, Kobe announces his retirement with a poem called Dear Basketball.
This season is all I have left to give. My heart can take the pounding. My mind can handle the grind. But my body knows it's time to say goodbye.
Dear Basketball, I feel like it's just an incredible piece that shows a young boy with a dream to become a great NBA player.
Dear Basketball was a love letter to basketball because it was the thing he wanted to do. It was the only thing he wanted to do. Like, rarely you run into someone who says, like, I know what I'm going to do from age 10.
Once I decided I wanted to speak to the game itself, which sounds really weird. Once I decided to write it from that perspective, then the words just came in a matter of minutes.
Over the course of his final season, Kobe begins taking a private helicopter from his home in Newport Beach to games and practices at Staples Center. This allows Kobe to spend more time with his family, and while it is a privilege and luxury few can afford, it gave Kobe more time with Vanessa and his girls. It was money he was willing to spend. During 2016, it also becomes apparent that Kobe's once icy relationship with Shaquille O'Neal has begun to thaw. The one-time rivals have become friends.
Shaq being the level of star that he was, Kobe being the level of star that he was, the way that it all fell apart, then for them to end up fixing their relationship, that's a whole saga in itself. And I think that's a massive part of Kobe's success and growth.
I was outside the arena of his last game, drove down from Fresno, couldn't get a ticket, but I just wanted to be at the Staples Center at that time, just be around people who, appreciated his greatness.
During a pregame interview with Shaq on Inside the NBA, the big man reveals he has one last request for the Black Mamba: to drop 50 points.
You promised me one thing.
What's up?
I need 50 that night. Can you do it?
No.
Kobe told him, you're crazy, not happening, not gonna do it. And he went out and he scored 60.
Kobe's decision to retire was a bittersweet decision for the fans. We see Kobe aging in basketball years, but he's still literally dropping 60 points.
It was shocking that someone could do that in their last game. And then you're thinking, like, well, if he could score 60, why would he walk away now? But he had other plans. He had other plans.
It's an unforgettable ending to an iconic career. But Kobe is also focusing on another one of his passions: making the hoop dreams of his daughters and young women like them a reality.
When he had daughters, he believed that they could be great. They could be in the WNBA, and he was very supportive of women's basketball because he always has been.
But no sooner does Kobe embark on his post-NBA journey than a bizarre accident will claim his life along with the life of his daughter Gigi and those of 7 others, sparking an investigation into their deaths that would threaten to overshadow Kobe's legacy.
Kobe was one of those individuals that we as sports writers and journalists were always worried about what he was going to do in his post-career because he was so singular in what his interests were.
Kobe told me that there were a lot of people in his inner circle that thought that he would struggle with post-retirement because he loved the game so much.
Just months after his retirement, Kobe and Vanessa Bryant welcomed their third daughter, Bianca, into the family. Sports Center anchor Elle Duncan recalls the joy Kobe took in being a dad.
It was Disney and ESPN upfronts. I see Kobe Bryant, and I was like, oh, it's Kobe Bryant. And a colleague of mine could see it on my face and was like, do you want to meet him? He was talking to someone, and when he was finished, he turned around and right away was like, oh, wow, like, because I was so pregnant. And he just starts telling me about how amazing it is to have daughters. And it was a cool moment to have this person who was an icon in such a human form, just being a dad bragging on his girls. It was really special. So of course I asked him if he was done. Immediately was like, I would love to have another daughter. I am a girl dad. I'm a girl dad all the way.
Basketball players travel so much that they can't be there for their kids as much as they want to. So I think for him, he made the best of that moment as a dad once he retired, because there was no basketball getting in his way of his family.
He was just so excited, I think, about the prospect of finding that next thing. He finally found that thing that he wanted to sort of focus all of his energy and talents and efforts into, and it was with Granity.
Not long after retiring, Kobe gives the cast and crew of Good Morning America a tour of the Granity offices.
50 years from now, how do you want the world to look at Kobe Bryant?
As a person that was able to create stories that inspired their children and families to bond together.
He was a storyteller, and recognizing the moment of retiring from basketball being not only a chance to say goodbye to one thing, but hello to another.
He wanted to blow up his company to essentially be like the next Disney. And that was his goal, very high, from the beginning.
But the first initial one was trying to parlay that Dear Basketball poem that he used as his retirement announcement into a short film. And so he teamed up with John Williams and Glenn Keane for them to provide the musical score of that poem, and then for him to do voiceover work.
Dear Basketball, which started with very soul-bearing, simple poem about what it meant for him to say goodbye to the game that had meant so much to him on a day in, day out basis for his entire life.
As a 6-year-old boy, deeply in love with you. I never saw the end of the tunnel. I only saw myself running out of one.
When I saw Dear Basketball, I realized it was an emotional connection that Kobe achieved. So what it means to you is, a way of life. It forms who you become.
This movie, Dear Basketball, I think that was just his love letter to basketball. From watching it to coaching it, some of us just love being around it. And I think Kobe just confessed that to the world.
And the Oscar goes to Dear Basketball, Glenn Keane and Kobe!
For him to have the success he did, obviously, with the Oscar for Dear Basketball was really special to watch. And it is something that pops into my mind when I think of Kobe's career.
Thank you, Academy, for this amazing honor. And to my wife, Vanessa, our daughters, Natalia, Gianna, and Bianca, you are my inspiration. Thank you so much.
Kobe Bryant even told me that winning an Oscar for a short film meant a lot more to him than winning any NBA championship. His rationale for this was that, in his mind, it was expected that he would win championships. But because it wasn't expected of him to have this kind of success in a storytelling venture, he viewed that Oscar trophy as the most significant and most meaningful.
Soon after winning his Oscar, Kobe releases his book, The Mamba Mentality, a sort of compendium to Dear Basketball.
The Mamba Mentality, you walk away to me from reading that book you not only get just Kobe's reflection on his career, you get why basketball meant so much to him.
I feel like all the things he did after he retired from basketball were him trying to show everybody how much not only he loved the game, how much he loved who he'd become, how much he loved the love that they had given him over the years. And now what can I do? What can I give back?
This guy was doing a little bit of everything off the court, from coaching his daughter's AAU basketball team, to doing stuff for the homeless, to, winning Oscars. And, I'm telling you, he just was in so many places and so many times that this guy, when they say live your life and make the best of the 24 hours, this guy did that.
Turning it up, turning it up, yeah, go, the trees, yeah, I'm chasing dopamine, yeah, look what he done to me.
The Mamba Academy, I believe he started it to create a niche for women's basketball, for youth women's basketball, and his relationship with his daughter. And he saw an opportunity to be an ambassador of the game and to further the game.
They were looking for equity for these young girls, giving them a place that they could come and train, a high-class facility, because there's plenty of those on the men's side.
His advocacy for women's basketball started way before he got in the NBA. He was always a fan of really good basketball players who were women or men. And he never differentiated the two.
Kobe even goes so far as to offer personal instruction to WNBA superstars like Candace Parker and his childhood friend, Tamika Catchings.
Yeah. Now as soon as that touches, come back the other way short.
It was not an accident that Kobe would plop himself courtside at WNBA games or wear WNBA hoodies or show up to even the U.S. women's soccer team matches.
I remember the first time I met Kobe after one of our games. He brought his daughter, Natalia, to the game, and afterwards, he came into our locker room. Natalia could easily look up to Kobe Bryant as a role model, but what Kobe did was he actually turned her around to the WNBA players and said, hey, you look up to them. These are the women that you could aspire to be.
In time, Kobe discovers that it's his 11-year-old daughter, Gigi, who most deeply shares his passion for basketball.
He and Vanessa never forced anything on their kids or what direction they wanted to go. But when they discovered that Gigi really, really loved basketball, it almost became like, oh, okay, I got great daughters, but now I got a partner in crime.
He starts telling me about Gianna and how she was just so nasty on the court. And what stands out to me about that conversation was just how much his eyes lit up. I mean, you would think he was talking to a WNBA scout. He's like telling me, he's like, she could do everything. And he was like, she's better than me already.
Gigi, she was his protege.
But sadly, neither Kobe nor Gigi would live to see her fulfill her potential as a player, or to see Kobe's life post-basketball continue to flourish.
It's really hard to believe this is one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived.
Yo, still here. Still standing. After everything, we still here.
You retire, you think you're gonna step away from basketball. But when you have kids that aspire to be like you, somehow you get roped into coaching their teams. And now Kobe, he wanted to coach his daughter, but who better than to coach your daughter than the best?
When he was coaching Gianna and her teammates and other players at the youth level at his academy, he said it was really important to be encouraging and not to be overly critical when a player makes mistakes, and really use these as teachable moments to explain things from a tactical standpoint, but be very supportive.
The one thing that I think came from him looking at it from a coaching standpoint is not the ability to just shape the way the game is played on the court, but to educate and teach certain things about the game of basketball.
I remember the last time I saw him was at Mamba Academy, and we were playing in a tournament. His daughter was playing on the other court. I remember that joy he had, that just coaching his daughter.
I thought she had the fundamentals on lock. Her decision-making was great.
She was an example that you could be the female Kobe Bryant. You could see it in her game. You could see it in her spin move. You could see it in her fadeaway.
Lance Gregory is a Kobe superfan whose daughter Niley played at the Mamba Academy for a rival team called Paul George Elite.
One of my daughter's goals was to, when we saw Kobe working with his daughter's team, was to play against Gianna and the Mambas. When we found out that we were going to end up playing them, I showed her the schedule and just told her it's on. You got to get ready to go.
He was all like, didn't I tell you this day was going to come? And I was jumping up and down, excited and ready to play them.
So the day before my daughter's team was going to play the Mambas, we were at the Mamba Academy. We knew the Mambas were playing on court 4. So we went over and sat down, and as they came into the gym, you see the Mambas run out, and then Kobe walks out behind them. You felt this energy pick up. I stand up, and I see other people walking up to Kobe. I stand up, and I'm getting ready to go over there myself.
My dad was all like, oh, I'm gonna go say hi to Kobe and stuff. And my mom was all like, no, sit down, just wait until tomorrow, you know?
You're still too low level for flight following at this time.
Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter were among the 9 victims who died in a helicopter crash in Southern California.
Fans say they really lost the king.
I was at home and my son in New York called and said, Dad, is it true about Kobe? I said, what about Kobe? They said he was in a helicopter accident and he may have died. And I said, hold on, let me call you right back. I called ESPN and they said, yes, it is true. We're about to release it in 3 minutes.
Breaking news in this Sunday afternoon, 5-time NBA champion, former league MVP Kobe Bryant died earlier this afternoon in Los Angeles in a helicopter crash.
Kobe had a relationship with my kids. And as a parent, you always want to protect your kids. You know, Kobe was like literally their guy. I did not know how I was gonna call my son back to tell him that was true.
The news hits Kobe's high school teammate, Robbie Schwartz, particularly hard.
My phone just started going crazy. When I looked at my phone, it was like 20 missed calls, like 60 text messages. Not being able to say goodbye was sad. My dad and Kobe were the 2 biggest influences on my life, hands down. And I would have liked to have told him that.
You feel like a brother, a family member that passed away, and somebody that was like almost a hero to you. Emotions are all over the place. It was very, very sad, very emotional time.
The day that Kobe passed, I was coaching for the Knicks, and our guys were late to practice. And they come in the gym, and they said, did you hear about Kobe? And I'm like, I did not hear about Kobe, and why are you late? And they're like, no, coach, did you hear? Kobe died. My heart dropped. I couldn't believe it.
We're in the facility, just stretching, waiting for the game to happen. And then my wife and I are standing with some other parents, and Niley comes up to me and her mom and says, Daddy, one of the parents said, Kobe died. And then all around, like, people were just screaming. You see other coaches walking to their teams and embracing, consoling their players and parents. I'm hugging Niley and she's crying, and I'm breaking down crying in disbelief. It was just people just like, were like zombies.
I was sad. That was really sad of the loss of Kobe and Gigi. Kobe was one of my favorite players.
Compounding the tragedy is the fact that 7 other people have perished in the crash. Among them are Gianna's teammate, Alyssa Altobelli, her parents, John and Carrie, another Mamba teammate, Peyton Chester, and her mother, Sarah, as well as assistant coach Christina Mauser and the pilot, Arl Zabayan.
There was so much loss in this story. The families on the helicopter, everything about it was so hard.
You feel so bad because you say the helicopter crash that killed Kobe, Gianna, and 7 others. They weren't others, you know, they were people.
I drove to Calabasas where the crash site took place, trying to get details about the nature of the accident. I then went to a local church that was right across the street from the crash site that wound up becoming a safe haven for a lot of the mourning Kobe Bryant fans that were there. After that, I went to the Mamba Sports Academy, and there I saw Kobe Bryant fans laying out. I think the common denominator with all those different stops, you just saw so many fans in grief and mourning, losing someone that they loved dearly.
I didn't even cry until the reality of the moment when you're sitting there on TV and we flashing back through his greatest moments. It just hits you, and that's when the tears start flowing because this is your brother, the guy you went to battle with in basketball games, the guy you sat in the back of the bus with, had jokes with, the guy you sat in the locker room and laughed with.
I lost
Two days later, the Lakers postponed their game against their crosstown foe, the Clippers. It is the first time an NBA game has been canceled since the Boston Marathon bombing in 2013.
I just think at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do to not play that basketball game. The moment can be replaced, but Kobe's not somebody you can replace.
In the days and weeks after Kobe's death, more than 25,000 candles, 5,000 signs and letters, and 1,300 basketballs are placed outside the Staples Center.
Maybe a month after, and I go to LA and you see murals, just murals everywhere. Lakers stuff everywhere. Kobe, Gigi faces painted on almost every single brick wall.
to be successful and to be a legend in a city like Los Angeles, that really shows you the star power that Kobe had and the connection that a lot of people in the city and Lakers fans have to him.
We knew Kobe since he was a teenager. We grew up with Kobe and he grew up with us. We saw him become a father, become a husband. We saw him become a man. We saw him learn in real time. And so he felt like he belonged to us.
It just tells you how important Kobe was as a player and what he meant to a lot of people that never met him.
When Kobe passed, that's something, honestly, I still think about. When he passed, it stopped the world.
Gigi, she didn't get to live her life. She didn't get to go to the league like she wanted to live on her legacy. It was shocking. It's like she was so young.
When the details started coming out about the senselessness of it all, it just felt more tragic than I could have believed.
The National Transportation Safety Board investigates the crash and releases a report. They note that Kobe's longtime pilot made several mistakes that led to the crash. He took off in foggy conditions and flew into clouds without using his instruments. While in the air, he lost his ability to tell up from down, which caused him to careen into the hillside in Calabasas. Adding to the tragedy is that just 7 months earlier, Kobe and Vanessa had welcomed their fourth daughter, Capri, into the world. Kobe did not live to see her first birthday.
I just can't imagine how Vanessa and her daughters feel going through the whole situation where they're not having their sister and their dad and husband, and that's something that nobody ever wants to experience.
His family lost him too soon. His girls, his youngest daughter that won't know her father save from secondhand accounts and pictures for his loved ones. It was just a blip that he was here, I imagine, for them, and that's heartbreaking.
And to Kobe and the Bryants, this truly has been a basketball storybook ending. They say it takes a village to raise a child. I say it takes a village to make dreams come true.
They started off their journey together doing that, and look at both of them ended up being in the Hall of Fame. Both of them looked at as some of the greatest ever played.
I wish my husband was here to accept this incredible award. He and Gigi deserve to be here to witness this.
I feel like all of us just wanted that moment to hear him talk about his career and hear him talk about his family and hear him talk about everything that basketball gave him because of the love that he poured into the game of basketball. We didn't get that. It was hard. It's really hard.
Much as her husband did in his poem, Dear Basketball, Vanessa is sure to thank all those who supported Kobe on his journey.
To all those who helped him get here, you know who you are, and I thank you on his behalf.
It's a fitting final tribute to the young man raised in Italy who translated his love of basketball into one of the most influential careers in the history of professional sports.
I think people should know, growing up with Kobe, he was just a person who had an extreme belief in himself, had an incredible work ethic, had incredible determination, and was willing to sacrifice whatever it took to accomplish his dream.
For me, to be able to have the chance to play with him, play against him, and then get to know him and who he was after the game of basketball was an honor for me because I've played with a lot of greats. It's just amazing what he was able to accomplish on and off the court.
It's hard to just encapsulate the legacy that he leaves in the NBA. Guys to this day emulate his game, how he studied, how he worked. And the guys that are successful are the guys that do it the best.
Amazing thing about him that I know is his legacy and who he was shines through in so many people. I think the people that were closest to him too will keep that memory of him and that legacy of him going forever.
All the people that I'm watching the NBA now are people that looked up to Kobe for inspiration.
I wish I could tell Kobe thank you for helping out girls basketball, showing people that girls are great and that they can play basketball.
I think the inspiration that he's given to women players, it's going to be long lasting and it's going to affect generations to come because of the lessons that they're going to pass down to those players that they learned from Kobe in terms of their work ethic and training habits and approach to the game.
What people mostly are talking about today when it comes to Kobe Bryant is his mindset. If you take on this mindset, you're going to be successful. And who doesn't want to win? Who doesn't want to be successful?
The Mamba mentality, you hear it in not just basketball, you hear it in business. I teach junior high science and math, and I use it in my class all the time. I said, guys, this math is a mentality. Even if you mess up, try it again. Nobody's...
Hit me.